He did not do well. Now, I was pulling for Shedeur. I know they got Dylan Gabriel. It's been a quarterback competition. I said from the beginning that this was the worst case scenario. Cleveland Browns drafting two quarterbacks, drafting Shedeur in the fifth round was bad. I called it from the beginning. I told people that it's the worst case scenario. It's not great. I'm not saying he can't overcome it, but I'm saying that it's not the best situation because you're looking at a kid who's sitting behind a veteran QB in Joe Flacco, sitting behind a guy that's hurt out for the season. He's actually number one, Deshaun Watson, and he's out for the season. Then you got Kenny Pickett, who's also a pretty seasoned quarterback. He started for a few teams. Then you draft Dylan Gabriel in the third round, and then last you grab Shedeur in the fifth round. That's not a good situation, man. If you got to compete with basically four other guys for a quarterback position, it's not going to be something easy to do. Shedeur had to be perfect. He had to be, basically mistakeless. He wasn't able to make a mistake because he already was drafted last. The people who drafted Dylan Gabriel, they was going to be in to make him the quarterback first because they felt like that was going to make them look smart by drafting a guy that they thought was better. So they was already invested in Dylan Gabriel. I've been saying this, man. Shedeur is a good quarterback. I still say he's a great quarterback. The boy, I think he has a future to do some great things. He can do some great things in the future. He can throw the ball well, but he did not have a good last game. He was 3 for 6, 14 yards. He was sacked 5 times, and he minus 41 yards due to those 5 sacks. Sacked 5 times. And I'm going to be real with y'all. I don't think they put him in the best position possible. I don't think they put him in the best position possible. They damn sure didn't play him long enough. They took him out way too early. They should have let the man run a 2-minute drill. I was pissed about that. Why would you not let this man run the 2-minute drill why would you put Snoop Huntley in the game when this dude is already going to be cut for sure tomorrow? You're going to let him go anyway. Why put him in the game? Why not let Shedeur run a 2-minute drill? It didn't make sense at all. But nevertheless, Shedeur, he had opportunity to go out there. They put him in a situation where it wasn't the best situation. People say, well, the offensive line he had was trash, this, that, and the third. And that's true. That's true. The offensive line had a bunch of guys they cut the next day. But in all fairness, though, we got to admit that the defensive players were in the same boat. At that moment of the game, the defensive players were people that was going to be cut as well. So we got to be fair when we talk about that. Now, does Shedeur hold the ball too long? I've been saying this since college. I've been saying this since Colorado. He holds the ball too long. Shedeur, one of his superpowers is he's very poised in the pocket. He wants to throw the ball downfield. He wants to get the ball to his receivers, which is a great quality of him. But the issue is that oftentimes, he holds the ball too long. And when you hold the ball too long, he makes it hard for the offensive line to block for him because they can only hold a defender off for so long. So if you're holding the ball too long, it's going to look like they're not blocking. If you step back instead of stepping forward into the pocket, it's going to look like they're not blocking. And I think that also has to be said. They didn't put him in the best situation. I'm not denying that. But Shedeur holds the ball too long, and he has some work to do when it comes to getting better. We just got to be real about that, man. He got some work to do. I saw that they released Kenny Pickett. They traded Kenny Pickett today, which is great because what that did is that slid Shedeur up a slot. So now the Cleveland Browns have decided, at least up to this point, that they're going to run with Joe Flacco as a starter. They're going to probably have Dylan Gabriel as number 2, and Shedeur going to be the third string quarterback. So he's still in the fight. God forbid Flacco get hurt. Shedeur is going to be somewhere, he's not going to be far from being the backup. So But yeah, man, I just think overall he has some opportunities that he probably wish he could get back. You know, I think that the coaching and the Cleveland Browns did a terrible job of not keeping him in the game and showing us, allowing him to show them what he could do. Like, why would you deny him of that? Why would you do that? It's just a dumb decision. But what else should we expect from the Cleveland Browns, right? A team that won 3 games last season. I mean, you know, again, worst case scenario. That's what I said earlier. It wasn't the best case scenario, period. You know,
that's what I do it for. You know I got motion. Even though I be joking, get to the bag. Got me waking at 4 something. It's deep as the ocean. Been through the fire.